Aloha, it's so very nice seeing you today. Might be a little weirder with that lower G string, but the idea is you could transpose these G notes up top. It just takes a little bit more finesse. Other than that, the island style, I'm going to tell you about the 3 different trills and the little half-step flashes that I do just to influence. Give you 2 examples and a loop so you can practice them. And then another lesson to try and maybe get our fingers into doing that naturally. It's going to be a repetitive kind of vamping thing, all right? But first, I'm going to do the island style chord for you by John. See if it works well. Start on the F with a vamp. So that little trill that I was doing was from the C. You can back it a half step with the first finger and do a slide. But what I like to do is influence both the B and the F sharp and then slide it up and then do a quick off from that G. So it gives a ba, 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 da. And one of the great ways to do this is we could take our third finger, our natural finger for our C on the 3rd fret, 1, 2, 3, and do one's a slide and one's a finger movement. One could be the minor second and one's a slide of that minor second. You can either do them all together or alternate. When you feel comfortable with that finger, switch the finger and slide it up. And then use the first finger and do your half minor seconds or your half steps. Now this time slide. Switch back to your fingers. Now do the half step with the movement. If you're even feeling adventurous, try the pinky. Something along those lines to get your fingers going, and then what you'll find is that your hand right here on the outside of your pinky should be tense. The bone and the ligament or whatnot between your 4th and your 5th here, so your pinky. then the outside of your thumb is also going to feel a little strain. If you're doing it right, you'll feel it there. When you're doing these trills, you could also do it on the G, dominant 7, that G7. Make sure when you do that you drop your first finger below the fretting where the nut is, and then back up. I don't see it as like a lay on over. I kind of see it as a over and then press, and then depress in that nature. But it's all one felt swoop. Okay, when you're going through that too, you can see how doing that the wedding song, the Greek wedding thing that I was showing in A major, or 1, 2. Helps out with those different weird movements, slowing them down and speeding up. Same thing with this. When we're doing the C, the B major into the C, what I was doing was, this lesson that I just showed you will help with that. I'm doing my C major open, B major with either just the B, F sharp, and then its third here, this E flat, and then moving it up, and then playing just the C again, or doing the whole thing, utilizing both Bs and both Cs, and then leaving it out. It'll look like this. Sorry. Here it is. Now I switch fingers. In that motion, each finger gets its chance to do the motion, and it gets stronger. I hope that helped out. I really enjoyed seeing you this week, and I'll work on that Jack Johnson tune home for next week. Aloha.